Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
They'll be here. I guarantee you they'll be here. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We ready for calm, peace, lots of love shared, and a new secular year. Be hopeful. That's the message, and that's what our Torah portion is all about. There's pain and difficulties and contention, and then there's peace and reconciliation. It's a beautiful text. So let's begin with the lighting of the candles. Patty, please rise for our Hadlakat Neirot. Here are the matches. Light first, and then, yeah, you can cover your eyes, and then the blessing. Uh-oh. There goes the show. You did it. Yeah, well.
We need a carpet blessing. Okay.
Okay, no harm done.
That will strike
No
one.
harm, no foul. There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kitshanu v'tzidotzo v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. You did well. It's all part of the memories now. Please be seated, everyone. Let's begin our Shabbat, page 10, Yedid Nefesh.
ידיד נפש, אהבה רחמן, משוך עבדך אל רצונך, ירוץ עבדך כמו עין, ישתחווה זיו העולם נפשי לפנלה וערולה נועם זיווך אז תתחזק ותתרבה והיצלח שפחת עולם ידעי ידעי
Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the universe, source of all goodness. We are here again for our Shabbat worship, and we ask your blessings. Grant us health enough to perform our daily tasks, and wealth enough to answer our needs, compassion enough to feel the needs of others, the strength enough to recognize our own faults, and wisdom enough to understand your laws, your morality, your Torah, loyalty enough to discharge our duties. Give us courage enough to be true to the best within us, and charity enough to see the best in others. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, and hope enough to overcome our fears for the future, and faith enough to feel your presence as we do on Shabbat and every day as we say, Amen. Let's begin. Kabbalat Shabbat, page 11.
לכונן אדוני נריע לצור ישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירה נריע לו
כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך אלוהים אשר יברי ארץ ותופרי לו אשר יביאו עצהו ויבש ויצרו בוא נשתח ונקרא נברא ונדוסנו כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו אמר איתו וצאן ידו כי הוא מסע במדבר אשר ניסוני אבותיכם וחנוני גם ברור ועולי
40 שנה קוט בדור ואומר אמתוה לבבם והם לא יראו דרכי אשר נשבעתי באפי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי.
Page 13, שיר לאדוני, שיר חדש.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, וכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו, לאדוני משפחות עמים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, שאו מנחה באו לחצרותיו, השתחוו לאדוני בהר הקודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ, אמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, אב תיכון תבל בעל צימון, הדינמים במישרים ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלוא יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל עצי יער לפני אדוני קיווה לשבות הארץ ישבות תבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו ינאי יראי יראי
Page 20, last three lines. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
Page 21, Mizmor LeDavid.
מזמור לדוד, אבו לאדוני בן אלים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, כל אדוני על המים אל הכבוד ירים, אדוני על מים רבים, כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון, וסיריון כמו בן רימים, כל אדוני חוצב לעבוד אש, כל אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכול אל היעלות, ויחשוף יערות ובחלום, כולו אומר כבוד, אדוני למבור ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
Lecha Dodi, page 23.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם תפארת לתהילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן נשמה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן נשמה נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן נשמה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קום יצאי מתוך ההפיכה, רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן נשמה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן שבת נקבלה.
25.
בואי ושלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן נשמה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פן נשמה נקבלה.
Please be seated, everyone, and let's give each other a warm Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. My dear friend, my friends. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Are you visiting?
Yes.
This is must be a friend of yours. You live here?
No, I live in Princeton.
Princeton, you're just visiting to escape the blizzards.
Absolutely.
And what's your name?
Faith.
Faith is visiting from Princeton, New Jersey, everybody. We've heard of the wonderful university there. Woodrow Wilson's school. That was, he was a good educator. He had a checkered background. That's a sermon unto itself, the complicated life of President Woodrow Wilson. He wasn't very good when it came to the racial issues. But that's a different story. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's turn to page 28 for Tzadik Hatamar Yifrach, the Shabbat song.
צדיק התמר יפרח כארז בלבנון, יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון לסבא דשיינים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו.
Page 29 of the Malachi Ulavish. Nachon kasami asmi lamata.
מקולות מים רבים אדירים משמרי עם, אדיר במרום אדוני עירותיך נאמנו מאוד. לביתך נאווה קודש, אדוני לאורך ימים.
Page 30, those who are observing Yartzites and those in mourning, as well as at home. We rise for the Kaddish Tome before the evening service on page 30 together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv, v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach, elam b'lomeil maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei dekudusha b'richu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. I didn't welcome you. Are you visiting here also? You're now living here. From where?
From
We've
Maryland. I live in Lakewood Ranch, but I'm from Maryland.
nice. From Baltimore. Which part of Maryland?
Between DC and Baltimore.
That area. It's not near Annapolis. That's Columbia. Right, Columbia. Right. Actually was there once. Used to have a rabbi friend there. Ralph Dallin was there a while ago. Welcome. What's your name? Holly. Welcome. Okay. We are, thanks to the Rosenthals, we are having our second presentation of Zachor, Zikaron, memory of our family, so it's getting started and the reception was good. So what an honor to welcome Richard and Barbara. I don't know who's going to speak or what, both of you or just Richard? Okay. Very good. So Richard first. You will be surprised at what you're going to hear. This is such a wonderful. People have said they don't know our congregants, and this is opening all kinds of eyes. Hi, my friend. How are you?
Well, before I start to tell you a story of two families that we told Ed and Betty at the Federation, and Ed was kind enough to tell the rabbi about it. I'd like to take a little poetic license here, as you see my name all the time in the messenger when it talks about the cemetery and the cemetery campaign. I'd like to share with all of you that that $200,000 challenge grant has been met last week. We've received the $200,000 from the donor and $200,000 of gifts under $10,000 each. That was his request. So I had to show him in writing all the gifts that came in, and our cemetery campaign now is about $800,000. And I spoke to Jeff Cohn this morning, and he's lined up all of the subs, and we're ready to start expanding our Temple Beth Sholom cemetery in January. So I wanted to share that news with you. This happened this week.
Richard has raised millions of dollars for the Weitzman Institute in Rehovot. I hope you talk about that as well.
Well,
okay. That's you.
Barbara and our background is, but that's not the story I came here to tell you. A story of two families that goes back to the Holocaust, and I brought a book of pictures that you can see for yourself after if you care to. This is a book that my sister-in-law put together at the 100th anniversary of my father's birth in 1918. And in here is his birth certificate from Leutershausen, Germany, of which they list him as Judah. They list him as Jewish in here, but this is all in German. And with that, my father came to America when he was about 16, and And I had asked my grandmother, who made it before the gates were closed to get out of Germany, how did you know to send Dad and his brothers out of the country? And she said to me, "Wenn die sagt keine Jude in der Schule," no Jews allowed in the school. She said to me, I knew the pogrom was coming. Fast forward the story, my father goes into the United States Army. A lot of his Army service is here in this book. I actually have his passport here, the ship that he came in from Germany, but also
What
all
year
of-
was that he came from Germany?
I gotta look here. I'm not sure what year it was. That's a good question, Rabbi.
Hmm. 35, 38,
36 he came.
36.
And he went back with General Patton's Third Army. He was with the 165th Division. And here are maps that I'll show you later of the Battle of the Bulge, where my father was brought into special forces to interrogate German panzer officers. Patton wanted to out-attack, as you all know, General Montgomery. He wanted to cross the Rhine River before Patton did. And what they used my father for at one point was to interrogate German panzer officers who buried their petro when they retreated for counterattack. They wanted to be able to dig up the petro and put it into their tanks. Patton knew about this, and he wanted to know where was the petro buried. And my father's job with another man was to interrogate the German officers, which they did very successfully. And as you all know, Patton did cross the Rhine before General Montgomery. There's also here maps of the 165th Division, of all the battles they fought from southern Belgium. And you remember the movie Saving Private Ryan and the Battle of Regensburg Bridge? Dad was there. Here's Regensburg on the map where the 165th Division crossed. And he told me at that time he was on the back of the Jeep on a 50 caliber machine gun. So if you saw those scenes in the movie, he was one of the guys that was protecting the troops as they were crossing the bridge with the machine guns. And then he went, and there's pictures of him here in Germany. He was a liberator of concentration camps. And because of his relationship with Patton's headquarters, he was at Berchtesgaden with General Patton, high up in the Alps. There's pictures here of the snow-covered Alps. And my dad told me that when they went into the Battle of the Bulge, they would come from southern France, the army. If you know the story, how Patton marched the army so quickly, Eisenhower didn't think they could be there to relieve the 101st Airborne that was trapped in Bastogne in Brussels. And Patton marched his army 3 days and 3 nights to get to the battle to relieve them. And with that, my dad was at Berchtesgaden with Patton. So they were still interrogating German officers even though the war had ended. There were certain things they wanted to find out. And then there was a day, well, he was there when Patton died. My father swears it was not a Jeep accident that he was murdered, but that's another story unto itself. And he was at Berchtesgaden when Patton was killed. At that time, because he was at General Headquarters and they were still interrogating German officers, even though the war was over, my father met Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he became Eisenhower's Jeep driver. On the occasion of a wedding, there was photographers, and they took pictures of the bride, the groom, Eisenhower, and you can all see this later. Here's Eisenhower, here's my father. There's the Jeep. So everything I'm telling you is here for you to see in picture form. And then my dad had told me many stories, but here they are in Berchtesgaden, in the snow, in the mountains. at one point, when he was at headquarters with Eisenhower, and as you all know, Eisenhower wanted to see the concentration camps, and he was with Eisenhower when they one of the camps had been freed, and that's when Eisenhower, as you all know, wanted photographs taken, movies taken. He wanted it documented, and thankfully for him, for Eisenhower doing that. And at that point, at one of the camps, Eisenhower said to my dad, "Take me to Munich. I need to get to Munich." And they drove in the Jeep to Munich, München, ja. Ich kann ein guten Deutsch sprechen. Ich habe Deutsch für 3 Jahre auf der Universität studiert. So we spoke German at home. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Barbara, who will connect the story of two families.
Richard and I are together 30 years, and we now learn it's not an accident, only in the last 3 months. I have an 18-year-old grandson, of course, he's my favorite, and he's a brainiac and very interested in my history and his family history. And he had interviewed me, and I could only tell him as much as I knew because both my parents were concentration camp survivors. So make a long story short, 3 months ago, my grandson calls and said, "How would you like to see and hear your mother and father?" I said to him, and the joke is, he says, "No, I'm serious, but if you can't handle it and you're feeling really teary, or I can understand, I won't say another word." I said, no, what are you talking about? FaceTime, and I saw 2 screens. There was my father with his lips moving. There was my mother with her lips moving on the other screen. Make a very long story short, after my overwhelming shock, he sent me the tapes of my parents who were interviewed by Steven Spielberg many years ago when I was not yet living in Sarasota. I knew of it. I can honestly say I don't remember seeing it. So the first thing I clicked on was my father, and Rich and I were driving home from dinner with friends. And he said, "Should we wait till we get home?" I said, "No, I can't wait." And I hear my father, but I said, "That's not my father." Because what I didn't realize until now is we all have memories of our loved ones' voices. We remember just how they sound, if they sang a lullaby to us. But now I had the opportunity to hear him, and I didn't recognize him at all because my interpretation was very different. But Richard said, "Yes, that's your father." Oh, okay. So now he's talking, and he was in Dachau. My mother was in Stutthof. And the liberation came. My mother escaped on the death march from Stutthof. My father was still in Dachau, 57 pounds on a mat. They heard bombing, and then all of a sudden, the next day, they see big trucks coming towards them. And my father's plastered against the fence with all the remaining survivors. And out of the truck, they disgorge, as he says in this interview, endless black people, Negroes. We never saw one before. I thought, oh my God, we survived all these years, and now our doom has come, where they're here to kill us. And none of this, by the way, as I'm listening, did my father ever share with me. What I listened to with my mother the next day, she shared with me. So I learned that they never saw black people before. So they decided that they needed to escape because now, finally, they're doomed, and they might as well try while they can. But what they didn't know is the reason they weren't let out of the camp is because of the diseases, the typhus, et cetera, and you couldn't afford to release the prisoners till you went through them, which, of course, the prisoners didn't know. I mean, they were prisoners. Fast forward, my father decided this is his chance, and at night, he escaped, and he walked 12 miles, which Rich and I learned today, we looked it up, 12 miles to Munich. Along the way, he met another prisoner, and together they went, and my father started to rebuild his life. He became a black marketeer. They got food stamps for displaced people, and my father learned the system, and he found one wouldn't do, so he somehow managed to get 8 food stamps at a time, give it to some others, and sell the rest. Then they heard Eisenhower was coming to Munich to a town hall, is how he described it. So all the remaining Jews went to hear Eisenhower speak. And Eisenhower stood in the middle of all of them. And my father had made a decision that he would wait and speak to Eisenhower to plead his case of what their needs were when he was done. And so Eisenhower spoke and cried terribly, and everyone crying, and my father waited patiently. And finally, he got the attention of Eisenhower, pled his case. I don't know any more details than what I'm telling you. And Eisenhower said, you know, I can help you. You come with me to my Jeep, and I'm going to drive you. And Richard screams, ah! He goes, I said, what's wrong with you? And he goes, you know, oh, no, this can't be.
My father.
And then he connected. He said, my father was the Jeep driver for Eisenhower. And we both sat in the car in the garage for an hour in the dark going, oh my God, but we'll never know because we can't ask. So that is what has come about in our history together of recent memories. Of course, I told my beloved Spencer, my grandson, that he's a very blessed individual, has blessed me. And so that's the story. And then when the rabbi called, Richard said, can you tell your part of the story? I said, sure. And that's it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing story. How things come around
Yeah.
that we don't expect. Unbelievable. What a book this is. I didn't see this.
But here's
Yeah.
Eisenhower.
There's your
Just
dad.
like that.
Yeah. Do you look like him?
Right?
Thank,
I
oh,
know, it's
isn't it a
just-
fantastic
It's
story?
just amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Oh,
welcome. I got to be quick.
thank you. I
Yeah,
got that.
you're
was
welcome.
fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Beautiful. Thanks, Richard. And thank you, Barbara. Next month, the Ferbers, Eric and Esme. Please rise. Let's continue our service now. Page 39A, the call to worship. Baruch Hu.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Vorach Leolam Vaed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. Baruch Atah Adonai Leolam Asher Bivaroch Mari Varavim. Machli V'Smadim. Maver Yom Evi Laila Mavdil Ben Yom Uven Laila Adonai Tzvosh. Elchai V'Kayam Tavdiluch Leolam.
מעביר יום ומביא לילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים. תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המרי והרבים.
Amen. Ahavat Olam, page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אתה תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ויורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shema.
אוהב עמו ישראל.
Amen. Together, the Shema, page 41. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol vavcha v'chol nafshecha ובכל מאותיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך, בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשפך, ובקומך, וקשתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Page 42. השתחוויתם להם בבשר שמיים, ושמתם דברי אלה, דיברתם אותם. למען יבואו ימיכם ונפתיכם אשר לאבותיכם, לתת להם כי מהשמיים על הארץ, ויאמר אדוני משה לאמור. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
Page 44.
ומלכותון ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים בני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדע בקודש נורא תהילות הספר מלכותך ראו בניך וקיים לפני משה זה אלי הנביא אמרו אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מי חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאה ישראל.
Amen. Our peace, our shalom, the greatest gift of all. Page 45. Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם ועד עולם ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו וכל עמו ישראל וירושלים.
Amen. We rise. Page 46. Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. איי 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 ביני ובין בני ישראל ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
חצי קדיש.
יגדל ויקדש שמי רבה ועלמא נברא קידותי והמליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם מעלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויפע ויטמע וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן ויעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Time for silence, private meditation of the words of the Amidah for Shabbat Eve, page 47 through page 52 silently. Adonai Sfata Tiftach, Baruch Atah Adonai. Let's see. Go right to page 53, top of the page.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחב אלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא האל העליון קונה שמיים וארץ מגן אבות בדברו, מחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נבוא ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעון הברכות אל ההודעות. אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג זכר למעשה בראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו רצנו ומנחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך וציין חלקנו בתורתך, שבענו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך, וטהר ליבנו עבדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ורצון שבת קודשך, ונוחבה ישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
יתגדל ויגדל שמי רבה, ועלמא דברה קידותי, והמלך מלכותי, וחייכון ויומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, ועגלה בזמן קריב ימרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ועד מעלמא יתברך. יברך ישתבח יפאר ותמה וינשא, יתהדר ותעלה ותהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתה, ושכתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו אמן. תגבר סרטון ואותון דכל ישראל, קודם עמדי בשמיה ויאמרו אמן. יש שלום רבה משמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום ויאמר, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Please rise for the Kiddush, page 55.
סברי ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
לחיים.
Chaim, everyone. We remain standing. Turn to page 56 and 57 for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, קרקע ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אינו. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated, everyone, as we pause to remember the art sites observed this week of Edna Abbas House, Leonard Baumgarten, Leonard Berman, Doris Lancer, Martin Schlanger, Burton Bush, Michael Allen Korn, Frida Donchik, Sadie Cranman, Benny Friedman, Father, Rhonda Bogart Irizarry, Bella Green, Betty Dacus, Isidore E. Cohen. It's your father. Betty Lowenstein, Michael Allen Korn, Constance Kirschbaum, Jacques Lashkar, Joseph Eliezer Stier, Edna Kruger Zitrin, Hermia Hafetz, Anna Mandel, Evelyn Mandel, Lillian Brody, Sarah Metzger, Bertha Angela Noah, Lyubov Minkina, Gerald Bachstein, your father, Ronnie, Mildred Servitz, Pauline Cohen, and Gloria Goldman, all of blessed memory. So those remembering yard sites will now rise. We proclaim the eternity of our love for them and constant memory, Zachor, to remember. The Kaddish, page 58. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivarach yirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach, v'yalam lomei almaya, yiparach v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shmei dekudusha b'richu, la'ela min kol bechata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, dam yiran b'yalma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May their memories be a source of blessing every day. Ronnie, you're on for the announcements.
Anybody doesn't know me, I'm Ronnie Reisberg. I'm representing the board here this evening. It is my pleasure. And first of all, I want to thank the rabbi and the cantor for their beautiful service. I want to thank Richard and Barbara for their very interesting presentation. Thank you for sharing that information with us. Okay, so tonight, the oneg is provided by TBS. The Kiddush tomorrow is going to be sponsored by Mara and Randy Wynn in honor of the 50th anniversary The Bima baskets are sponsored by Rise Bausch and Manuel Soto in memory of Rise's father, Leonard Baumgarten, and Enid and Irving Kushner in honor of their 71st anniversary.
Wow.
We welcome our visitors this evening. I hope you enjoy the service and stay for the oneg, please, and let us get to know you. Let's see. The following events I am required to announce. We have weekly classes, Mahjong on Tuesdays, From the Shoah to the Rebirth of Israel on Wednesdays, and Conversational Hebrew class on Fridays. This Saturday, Delicate Dilemmas, Mishpacha, family. How can we bridge the generation gap? With Rabbi Ed Weinsberg. Take your coffee and dessert into the multi-purpose room for the discussion. We have rabbi candidate weekend visits coming up. As part of our ongoing rabbinic search process, we will be welcoming rabbinic candidates to Temple Beth Sholom on the weekends of January 15th to the 18th and January 29th through February 1st. During these visits, the candidates will lead Shabbat services and will spend time, meet with the congregation and congregational leadership. You will have additional opportunities to meet each candidate at a live Friday morning minyan, followed by a breakfast session, and again at a Saturday evening Havdalah program. You're encouraged to take as many opportunities as possible to meet each rabbi. We appreciate the congregation's thoughtfulness and discretion as we continue this important process. Opportunities for feedback will be available during and following the visitations. Please look for additional information regarding each candidate's approaching visit to TBS. And thank you for your continued engagement and support as we work toward the future of our kahila. Let's all work together to make the rabbi candidates feel welcome here at Temple Beth Sholom. January programs, you need to register as soon as possible. The deadline has been extended to Tuesday the 6th at noon for this coming Friday's January 9th Shabbat dinner. The Men's Club breakfast on the 11th. There's a lunch and learn with Dr. Rob Katz on the 15th. A TBS kayaking adventure on the 18th. God's Family class begins on the 20th. That's an interesting title.
Well, that's the Reverend Blythe and myself.
Ah, yes,
Our class.
okay.
I don't know. I didn't choose that title.
Okay, I was
for
going
it,
to say
so-
that's interesting title.
Yeah.
Havdalah with the Catskills program coming up on the 24th. A really great movie. You don't want to miss it. Sisterhood membership brunch on the 25th. Sign up for the January classes. We have Hebrew classes, level 1 and 2, with Sue Spector and Cantor Neil Teibel. Are you interested in participating in our Purim Spiel or in our table read of Aaron on Trial? Contact Cantor Teibel today to let him know if you are interested. The Spiel will be on March 1st. But Randy Wynn is the person to contact for the Aaron on Trial. It's going to be fun. I plan to participate in that. And be sure to visit our website for upcoming programs and to register. Thank you all, and talk to you at the ONEG.
Thank you, Ronnie. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Let's conclude. We're running a little past 7:30, but we're still together with our energy. Page 62, Yigdal.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא בעינינו אל מציאותו אחד אין יחיד כייחודו נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נהלוך אלא קדושתו קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו הינו אדון עולם וכל עושה ירא גדולתו שפע נבואתו נתנו, אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שאול, נביא ומעביר את אמונתו. תורת אמת נתן לעמואל, היה נביא נאמן ביתו. לא יכל להיפעל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמי לזולתו. סובב ויודע שצרינו, מביא לסוף דבר וקנתו. גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לשנה כרישתו. נשלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפתור נחכה קץ ישועתו. מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך עדי השם תהילתו. מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך עדי השם תהילתו.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.